Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my videos. Alright, in today's video we're gonna grab one more part from the Honda parts cart. It's gonna be this one right here. Since we're waiting for the brake lines to get here, we got a little extra time in our hands, so I figured right now is the perfect time to do this mod. I do, however, want to take a moment to show you guys our calipers. Check these bad boys out. They're fully assembled and ready to go in the car as soon as those brake lines get here. But what we're going to be putting on the car today is a tachometer. Now this right here is also known as a RPM gauge. And I want to give a huge shout out to GlowShift for making this, because honestly these are so budget friendly and they come in so many different sizes. There's so many different kinds. There's oil pressure, coolant pressure, boost. Now this right here is this big, as you guys can see. It's not like the little ones that you see on Hondas right here. In the future, when we boost this car, which I'm hoping to do, we'll be able to install those. But the reason why I got this is because we get the keys and we go inside the car, you will notice that there is not a RPM gauge here whatsoever. And it's kind of dumb, with all your respect Honda, that you guys didn't put an RPM gauge here. Due to the fact that it doesn't have one, we are gonna install one, and I appreciate, I guess, Honda for that as well. So kind of like a blessing and a curse. So I already have an idea of where I want it. I want to go ahead and put it right here. That way when I'm driving I can see it. Like I said, in the future when we boost this bad boy, we can go ahead and put our boost gauge, coolant temp gauge, and our oil pressure gauge here. Now what you find inside the box is the pod itself with some cable. You got the warranty card, couple stickers, double-sided 3M tape, and then instructions itself. This right here is the package. One thing I wanted to mention is that I got the tinted version, so it's a little blacked out, but you can go ahead and still change the colors. You get 7 different colors, and it goes from 0 to 10,000 RPM, but I'm pretty sure this car is only gonna go up to like 6 or 7. And then it has a built-in shift light, so I'm ready and excited to see that. I want to see what this thing is redlining at. Now I don't think that's enough cable for this installation, so I did went ahead and pick some up. So I already got some extra wire and electrical tape. Let's go ahead, read the instructions, and see what we can do. Alright, now pretty simple stuff. We got lucky because the orange wire we're actually not going to be able to use. This is so that it could dim down with like the headlight in the interior unit. My car doesn't have that option in general, so there's nothing I can connect that to. However, if you look here at the yellow one, it says to connect it to a unswitched plus power source, and then the red one goes to a 12-volt ignition source switch. What that means is you want one of the wires to connect to a relay that is always giving out current. So whether the key is on the car or not, it's gonna give out current. And one example of that is the horn. Now the horn is always giving out current. As you can see, my key's right there, and if I press the horn, it'll go. So there you go, you heard the horn. And again, the key is now on the ignition, but you do want the other wire to connect to something that doesn't have any current unless you put the ignition on. So that'll make the pod turn on and off, and then one of the wires is gonna go to ground, and then one of the wires is gonna go to the RPM reading itself. So I've seen some people connect it to the actual coil packs, but I found a forum out there that says that we can go ahead and look for a blue wire by the headlight, and it's right here. This wire right here is what we're gonna connect our RPM wire to. So gonna take a minute to get everything nice and situated. Again, all the instructions are right here. So again, orange we're skipping, green connect to vehicle tachometer source, so that green wire we're gonna connect to the blue one. Black is gonna be vehicle ground, so that we're just gonna find a bolt and stick it onto that. Then we got the ignition source switch. Again, when the ignition turns on, something that gives it power. And then the yellow, which is constant source, so that would always give it power to keep working. So all of these things are gonna be connected to the fuse box. So but if you come to the Honda interior and you look under the dash, you would find all of the fuses located right there. So let's go ahead and see which one we're gonna use. That one right there, that first blue one, and the fourth 10 amp relay right there is what we're gonna use to power our wires. So now that we know which one's gonna be our red and yellow, we can go ahead and add fuse extensions. This allows you to put 2 fuses in one of them. So I'm gonna go ahead, solder this to a yellow and red one. These are both 15 amp fuses. It's just one of them is a little cheaper than the other one, so they look a little different shade of blue, but they should both work just fine. To solder, I am gonna use this kit that I got from Harbor's Freight. This is my 100 watt soldering gun kit. So I also have my helping hands that I got from Harbor's Freight, and this is also gonna help me solder all of this. And then I'm gonna seal it all up using liquid tape. Alright, I just got done soldering these 2 wires. This one over here, I went ahead and applied our liquid tape to it already. I'm gonna let this cool off a little longer, and then I'm also gonna apply some liquid tape. But once this dries off, I'm gonna apply some tape over it just to make sure we cover that as good as possible. And then I'm gonna do the exact same thing to the red wire and green wire. Alrighty, we got this all wire situation situated. The only thing I gotta do is apply some tape to make it all look nice and neat. As you can see, we went ahead and soldered all the wires and applied our liquid tape. However, with the green wire, since we're gonna be running it from the dash all the way up to this point right here, we're gonna add this fuse right here. It is a 15 amp fuse. There is one right here on the car as well. As you can see, this right here is for the subs in the back so that they don't go ahead and burn anything. They added a fuse. So I'm gonna do the same thing here with this wire right here. It's gonna look a little something like this. So this I'm gonna connect right there. And then the green wire, I went ahead and added one as well. So now these 2 I'm gonna connect like so. And that's what's going to connect to the green wire. I still got to make sure I tuck it away back there and keep it away from all the heat. Once I applied tape, I'm going to go ahead and connect these to the car itself. Once we get everything connected, we should be able to turn it on and see if everything works, which I'm hoping it should. Fingers crossed. Alright, at first I was going to put the gauge right here, but it doesn't fit. You can see it doesn't sit sideways. It won't let the bottom of it stay on there. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and put it here like so. Right now, if I'm sitting like this, I can still see the fuel level. I'm not able to see the coolant that good, but I'm pretty sure if I just decide to lean over a bit, I'll be able to see it. But it's probably gonna stay right there. So I'm gonna go ahead, remove this piece right here so that I can go ahead and tuck the wires behind it. And there was 3 double-sided tape on here, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick it on there, clean the surface there, and that'll be its new home. Alright, I went ahead and removed this plastic trim right there, 2 Phillips screws right there to remove that, and then some clips holding it in. You got one here, one there, then one in the top. And then I went ahead and removed the cluster. I didn't unplug it, the wire's long enough for it to just sit here and chill. However, I did disconnect the one on the right, which is this green one. And then there's 3 screws holding this in. There's one there, one here, and one there. You're gonna find them there, there, and right up here. And now all of this is out of the way. And I was looking in here to see where we're gonna run the wires, and if I put the flashlight right here, you can see the light pointing right at the fuse box. So I'm gonna run all the wires through that little hole right here, then I'm gonna assemble everything right back, and then I'm gonna start with the farthest wire, which is gonna be the green one, and then I'm gonna move to the black ground wire, and lastly I'm gonna go ahead and put all the fuses. I'm excited to go for a drive and actually see this gauge work, so let's get it. Alright, I went ahead and removed this fan cover right here. All I used was these needle nose pliers, clamped it right here and pulled it straight out. Scratch the bottom of it right there, but you're never really gonna see that. But now that we got that, I'm gonna drill a little hole right here. That way I can run the green wire to the tachometer source. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put the ground on one of these bolts right here. This right here is how my ground looks, so this is the one I'm gonna use to put there. I'm gonna make a hole on this dash. Kind of scared. I realized this cover could come right off, so I went ahead and took it off, and now it should be easier to drill. Right, I went ahead and tied up the orange wire so it's behind the pot, so once it's up you won't see it. The other wires, however, I was able to find their way to where they're gonna live. This I'm gonna run through here, through there, through there. I already installed it through the cap, hoping that the wire is long enough to fit there and connect to one of those bolts right there once it's up here. If it's not, we're gonna have to add more wire. There's not a big deal, but I think we should be fine. Yellow and red wire, I went ahead and run through that little canal that I told you guys, and I was able to actually reach my hand under there, get them, and actually guide them down under to the fuse box. The only thing I think is left to do is to fully mount this pod to where it's gonna live, and then we can connect the wire. So I'm gonna put everything back, add the 3M tape, stick it on there, and show you guys how it's all gonna look, and then I'll show you what fuses we're gonna connect these to so that we can make this thing work. Alrighty, I did get enough wire to go ahead and run it and connect it to this bolt, so very happy that I don't gotta do as much to get that situated. This right now we're gonna run to the tachometer before we mess with the fuses, but I just want to show you guys how everything looks now that it's put back together. This is the double-sided tape that they provided. I used both right there, one on each side. And I'm gonna put it right there. I don't want to touch it because I cleaned it with this rubbing alcohol, 91%. I love to use this thing as my prep surface cleaner. That's what I'm using right now to clean the panel. To stick that on there because I want that to last as long as possible, because we are gonna be launching this car and all that vibration will make that loose. So you wanna make sure you have a clean surface. But it's gonna look a little something like this once it's all said and done. Check that out. I love the fact that all the wires are hidden and you can't even see any. Like I said, we're gonna connect those fuse ones in a bit. What I want to do is finish running this one to the engine bay. Tuck it right under the fuse box. I went ahead and did the exact same thing they did with the speakers. Attached it there and then connected it there. But it's right there, as you guys can see. I went ahead and connected that there. Tucked it back there. It's not that hidden because it's green, but I still think I did a good job of hiding it. We went ahead and put it here. There's zip ties all around, holding it, making sure we don't make it move from where it's staying. So tucked it right behind the fender, through the door jamb, and if we close the door it won't harm the cable at all because you can still see the cable right here. So again, the cable is not being crushed. Went ahead and also put our black sensor thing on there and put some electrical tape because it's exposed to the weather, so I don't want it to start corroding, so that should help it last a little longer. Covers back on there. This I need to tighten a little though so that it doesn't move back and forth, but it's permanently on there. It's not gonna move. All that's left is to connect these fuses and turn her on. Again, these things GlowShift provides, but all this is gonna do is replace one fuse into two fuses. It kind of works like an extension. Instead of having one outlet, you have multiple outlets. So in a bit I'm gonna show you which one I'm gonna use and how it's gonna look. There is plenty of videos out there on how to test fuses. I would highly recommend you look at one before you start messing with any of these. The fuses that I'm gonna take out, this 15 amp blue one right here and this 10 amp red one back there, and then we should be able to turn this bad boy on. Alright, I actually lied. The yellow one was gonna go to the third fuse on the top. The red one stayed in the same spot. This is how everything looks now. Very happy with how that turned out. I've seen some people remove the fuse, wrap the wire around the fuse and stick it back in the fuse box. That also works, but I wanted to go the extra mile and order those fuse extensions, so time to see if this bad boy works. Still got a mess in the car, but I went ahead and also connected the battery, so let's see if this works. Let's go. Check that out. Then you are also able to change. Look at that. The color. 7 different colors. and I think it does some kind of, there you go, look at that. I think you are also able to make it dim. There you go, you see it changes colors. That's cool. Right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it on and make sure it's reading the RPM signal. So here goes nothing. Let's go, bro. Alright, it works. It's sitting at around 1,000 RPM. We're gonna let the car warm up for a bit, make sure nothing shows up in the dash. Probably gonna leave it blue. I really like how that looks, but I want to see what it redlines at. But dude, I am happy we finally got this installed. Alright, again, it's blue, but we can always change it the color we want. So I think for now I'm gonna make it dim different colors. Kind of like that setting. That one right there. So let's let her warm up. Let's put everything away and take her on a drive. We are now back home. Got my food. Got this mess to put away. Probably gonna end the video here because I got a lot to do. Other than that, I really am happy with the RPM gauge. It wasn't that expensive. Again, I am gonna have a link down below for you guys. But next time you guys see me, we're still gonna be working on the Honda. We're gonna be doing another interior mod. So until then, this is Javi from Javi's Productions. Peace out, my friends.